The Leo and Danny Show.
What if you were a trust fund kid, Danny? What if you just had a $14 million in the bank? You think you'd be doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think I would, Leo.
You wouldn't have gone to grad school or, I don't know, gotten some cushy job somewhere where you didn't have to do too much and just paid for
Leo,
prostitutes with giant tits?
I would be every single day waking up at 6 a.m., editing videos, writing videos, and then on the weekends going out there and riling up the public.
Okay.
I would... No, who am I fucking kidding? I would be doing the thing with the girl with the fake tits.
Yeah.
I asked about this. We were doing my improv class today.
Oh, God.
And I was asking a girl. She said she fantasized about having a chauffeur and a nice car. And I was just thinking about how the week before that, I didn't share this with the class, I was fantasizing about hopping on a first-class Delta flight to Vegas with a girl with big old fake titties who I hadn't fucked before. Because we all know once you fuck a girl once, it's not as exciting ever again. And going to Vegas, feeding her fucking clams, her oysters with a little spoon.
Aphrodisiac,
in
yeah. Turns her on a little bit.
Drinking some wine, lighting up a cigar right there in the middle of the restaurant, smoking or non-smoking, and then going out to a nightclub, getting so fucked up on ecstasy that I can barely see straight, before going back and just making her lick my ass in the suite for a couple hours.
A couple hours straight? Wow. See, that's the life, man. Yeah. I have a really strong feeling that you slip up in class sometimes and say either something, A, sexist, B, really too inappropriate for the class, or C, I'm not going to say racist, but, maybe a little inappropriate in a cultural sense. So you never slip up in your improv class?
Leo, I think you're going to be really interested in this. I've become one of the PC police in the class. Yes. I don't know how it has happened to me.
You can't say that. What do you do?
Okay. Just to fill everybody in from last time, I got into an improv class. It's operated over Zoom. Within the first 2 minutes, the girl was asking us about our pronouns, talking about how she needed to check her privilege as a white woman, telling us white men we needed to be aware of our intimidation and how we were coming off to people and if we were scaring people, things of that nature. But what started happening in the class is these numbskulls. It's the only improv class I've ever been in where race and political correctness was explicitly mentioned. And everybody, I mean everybody, including the black guy, is slipping up and saying incredibly racist shit all the time.
What?
Let's do okay, you and I have to say words back and forth that start with K right now. Don't try to make it funny or interesting. I'm going to start off. Knight, like a knight in shining armor.
Knife.
Kike.
Caca.
The black guy, I'm sorry, I should have made that more clear, said kike when it came around to him. And I was...
You could have said kite, dude. It's not even that far off.
K words are a little hard because most of the k sounds are C's, I realized to my chagrin. But I couldn't believe it. And then the teacher, she was like, wait, excuse me, Michael, it sounded, did you say kite or did you say knife or... No, I said kike. And she's like, okay, is everybody on the same page here? A kike, I think, is a slur. And he's like, oh, shit, I didn't know that.
This guy, are you serious? He seriously said that?
He said kike, and I couldn't believe it. And
are you dying on the inside?
Oh, dude, dying. But now it's come to the point where today, for instance, this guy, have you heard the story about the guy who used to tightrope walk across buildings?
Yeah.
And he was the best ever at it. But then he started imagining himself falling. And he said that in the press. And a couple months later, he fell off a tightrope and died. What's up, Bill Dawes?
Billy Dawes. We didn't get a text, but that's great. Come on in. No, I love it.
I think this guy in the... you can come across...
Sit right there, baby.
I think... How you doing, sir?
Oh, man.
He's okay, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have shook hands. That was my fault.
No, I give him.
Like the tightrope walker who started saying or seeing falling in his head and then fell, I think everybody is making a concerted effort to not be racist, and they're just doing the most racist shit ever.
Yeah.
There was a dude in the class talking about how the beaches in L.A. have homeless people on them. The gentleman who said that was black. And then we had to turn that into a scene. And this dude from Buffalo, New York's like, yeah, the homeless people on the beaches, some of them are white, some of them are fucking black.
No way.
And I tense up, and I told you, it's like Stockholm syndrome. I've become this PC guy. I start making faces up in the upper right-hand corner of my Zoom window, like, oh, shaking my fist. That won't do. That was so offensive. I raise my hand. I'm like, hey, you got to watch it there, how you specify race. And these, are you saying that people, because they don't have homes, they're more inclined to be black? Are you saying there's a causal relationship, buddy? And then I step back a second, and I think, what have I become, Leo?
Well, look, he's taking an improv class online now.
You can't. Oh, we gotta edit that out.
Yeah. They'll find out.
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
Remember that? Should we clap?
Do you really think Austin's gonna remember that?
No, he's not.
We did a Wizard of Oz video where instead of Dorothy from Kansas, we had Nico from Orange County, and instead of ruby red slippers, he wore a ruby red MAGA hat.
Oh my god!
And dressed in drag.
It was drag. Yeah,
I like that. Yeah. MAGA hat with drag.
We did that twice.
That's cool.
People don't know what to think.
Of course.
They're like, is it an ironic statement? Is it like a subtle rebellion against Trump? What's he doing here?
We did it in the South. We were in Virginia, right?
Virginia South.
And did you grow up in Virginia? Mm-hmm. And I like his. You have a good joke about Virginia, but it was not one even ounce of disrespect or any negative energy towards us when we were dressed in drag and wearing MAGA hats.
Oh, really? Yeah. Because that's right at the border between the two, between North and South. So like, MAGA, okay, I can accept it as a thing. Yeah.
Right.
The worst reactions we got, unsurprisingly, were the progressive people who were eating brunch in some of the more urban areas around there.
Yeah.
White, college-educated girls took extreme offense to our hats. But, of course, when we go up to the swap meet with the guy with a rat tail and 2 teeth, he thinks us being dressed in tutus is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, get a picture of you guys. It's funny.
Yeah, like they love it. So it seems like one end of the political spectrum has a little bit more sense of humor, or at least one part of the country.
Well, it's a shame that like a lot of liberal white women have entered themselves into the I'm going to be offended Olympics. Like I'm the most offended.
Right.
It's insane.
It's offense on the behalf of other people too.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
even
of course.
More hilarious.
But even more than that, it's like I like the black guy's like I'm not offended. Listen, you don't know any better.
It's so condescending.
So it really is.
It's so racist. It's like, and then the same thing with, we were talking today in my improv class, which has a hellishly politically correct white woman teacher. She was talking about which cultures it's okay to make fun of. And at one point she was listing like, all of Europe, Canada. And I was like, why Canada? Like I wanted to hear what her reasoning is. She's like, Canada, because like they're doing pretty well. And I just thought, so what are you saying about sub-Saharan Africa? Are you saying they're inferior to us? Are they not real brainy down there? Like that is the subtext is these people get into our college easier. You can't make fun of them because they're little simple babies. Yeah. It's like I was imagining her with like a pith helmet in Africa, like one of those old propaganda drawings with a couple pygmies on either fucking side of her. Like, oh, the little blacks, you can't make fun of them.
Yeah, I do a lot of urban shows, and black people don't want to be coddled. They don't want you going up there and not saying jokes. Like if you do work, it's a miracle. Like they want to hear that shit. They want you to go. They don't want to be like protected for their feelings. They don't care. Absolutely. If it's funny, it's funny. Yeah. Even if the joke hits them, they kind of go, "All right, motherfucker, I like it. I like what you did there."
Mm-hmm.
It's tough finding the balance. I just read Jimmy Carr's book on jokes. Jimmy Carr is an English comedian who's a joke wizard.
One-liner genius, yeah.
One-liner genius, vicious, very anti-PC. His book was addressing racial humor, and it talked about it said what you should try to shoot for is if you tell a joke and you're nervous that there might be black people in the audience or around you as you're saying it, that might be an indicator that it's a little bit too mean and not quite enough clever or funny enough. But if you're willing to say it, like you're willing to say your Jesus bit in a club full of black people, if you're comfortable doing that, then the joke's probably A-okay, green light. Yeah. This is just funny material.
I think that's a great litmus. I'm like, anything I say like on my podcast or anyone else, I'm like, well, if I say it on a comedy club, I'll say it in my podcast.
Yeah.
That's always good. If you can say it on comedy and you don't get booed off stage, then it probably has some legs. Or at least,
right. Yeah. And it seems like what you say, what can be said in comedy clubs, because I mean, you got like guys like Dom Herrera saying faggot like openly. And we say faggot openly here, but I still feel uncomfortable saying faggot. Like
I would probably not say that word. I hate to say this, but there are certain things. I have a daughter, right, who's 19 at Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
I know I look like I'm in my 20s, but I'm not, guys. Anyway, no, but my daughter's like, and she is.
They really were like, what?
For lack of a better word, she is woke. I know that's not the proper term.
Of course, yeah.
I was a young man, 21, had a one night stand. Anyway, so
happens.
She and I've, if I was on a Tinder date with someone like her, I'd be like, check please.
Right.
But she's my daughter, so I really try to listen. And I think she's a little oversensitive. She's got to relax. But I'm also kind of like, all right, I can see what you're saying. Like FNC, those are the three big ones, right? I used to say, and also like the R word. I mean, whatever, retard. I'll say I'm not gonna be like that precious, but like I used to have a lot of jokes where I would say it, and
I think I've seen you say retard on stage.
Yeah, because I do a joke like I go, I would say like, oh, I was like that's retarded. I was like, oh, you can't say retard, you have to say Trump supporter. So, I'd play both sides, split the baby. But then I started thinking about like, is it so funny that I need to use the word? Yeah. Do I really need to, so the question is not like, can you say it? The question is like, is it worth it to stake jobs on the fact that, because if someone wants to, let's say you blow up and all of a sudden like, oh, he said the F word on a podcast, is it worth it to you? So you could also stand behind it. I mean, I work with Jay Moore, and Jay Moore says everything on stage. He says the N word constantly on stage.
Wow.
But he goes,
I saw him.
He goes, if people come up to me and they're like, you said the N word, to be like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you said the N word. Yeah, and what's your point? You shouldn't. Is that what you think? All right.
Yeah, here's my take on that. And I think that any word, the way I look at it is so many of my comedic heroes, like I'm sure Jay Moore's comedic heroes, have said it, like Louis C.K. has N-word bits. Doug Stanhope, I was just listening to him go on stage and say that he can't be told that any combination of sounds is off limits. Yeah. And the working thing, you're so embedded in Hollywood and the jobs and stuff that I totally understand why you wouldn't want to alienate a future employer. But for me, I feel like I've already burned those bridges. It's not going to happen. And I have struggled with, there are a couple videos where I have said it, I'll just say it now because I've said it in other videos, nigger. And it's always been in a comedic context. It's never been a hateful, yelled out the window as we drive by a group of those people. But if I take down those videos, or I stop saying retard or faggot, I'm just worried about what will come next. Because I've seen a lot of people, since BLM happened, since Me Too happened, going back and deleting old content or losing sleep over other material they've done that was edgy. And I don't know where that's going to end. Am I going to completely forsake my identity as a comedian?
Yeah. I mean, the answer is it ends somewhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? It does end somewhere. It's not the slippery slope that like pretty soon I can't say woman because I said it without WOMYN. You know, like it's not going to get that.
I mean, the people in my improv class were talking about how they're worried to make fun of even Canadians and Scandinavians because they're worried that in 5 years, and they weren't saying this ironically or like, oh shit, this society's going downhill. They were like, well, I don't want to offend Canadians if it's not okay to say Canadian jokes in 5 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Will it end?
Well, this is the only thing I will say in terms of personal experience. Back to Tucker Max. So I had a compilation reel, and right now I think it's like I had a clean one and a dirty reel, right? And the dirty reel was 7 minutes. So Jay Leno used to have a segment called Jaywalking on The Tonight Show. I don't know if you remember it, but a guy would go around like mess with people. So my little video got disseminated around Hollywood. So a lot of people, a lot of agents saw it. And Jay Leno's people were interested in using me. And so they were talking Laugh Factory, And then all of a sudden, Jamie Masada, owner of Laugh Factory, he goes, buddy, what you doing saying N-word? Buddy, what you do? Why you just ruined job? You lost job. I go, what are you talking about? At the 7 minute mark of a video that I didn't send them, but it was a compilation reel, I go, and I'm reporting what I said, so I don't want to be all disingenuous and say the N-word. I'll say exactly the joke that I said. And again, this is all off the cuff. I'm just riffing. There was a little person who was there, and obviously that was a big feature of the movie. So I say, oh, as serendipity would have it, we have a midget here tonight. He goes, oh, I'm sorry, that's not PC. I gotta use a proper word. We have a snow nigger. No, we have a height nigger. So so it is it's an old riff on the snow and the blah 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 blah. So we have midget. Oh, I'm sorry, the proper term is height nigger. And then, which was a funny thing at the time, and it was literally the very last second of this video.
That's Austin's favorite thing in this podcast by far.
good.
It's pretty funny.
So, but that lost me the job.
Jesus.
So was it worth it? Of course not.
Yeah.
Would it be better to have like Jay Leno connections and Jay Leno money?
Yeah.
Of course. So, you know, I mean, me go like, I'm standing by my artistic integrity, like eat a dick. Like Shane Gillis lost his SNL because of the stuff about, and all he really needed to do was grovel and apologize. Grovel and apologize. You know what I mean? It's a big deal. You know, take the job.
I feel like doing what you think is funny, though, and being happy and at peace with it and not analyzing your back catalog and constantly biting your nails in fear of losing work. I feel like that's the way to live. I have a buddy, I'm not going to say his name, and it's not you, Leo, which it's going to sound like this is directed directly at you.
Oh, really?
I have a buddy who is terrified about getting Me Too because he's fucked hundreds and hundreds of girls since he's been in a high-profile position. Loses sleep at night constantly, is always in talks with his lawyers about how he's going to combat it if a case does come up. I can't even imagine how much money he's lost, how much his productivity has been squandered because he's just constantly worried about this sort of thing. If I thought like that, like, it's not worth it because I might lose a job on Leno at some point, I feel like that mindset of fear would stick with me. And I feel like it's better for me to just be like, yeah, I might get kicked off YouTube, which I don't. I completely play by the community standards. Like, but in my head, am okay with that prospect of getting kicked off any platform because I always know some new medium will surface that I can continue to do exactly what I think is funny on. And I know I'm a good person, so it's not going to be some like kkk/comedy.com.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be something legitimate. And that's how I run my mind now.
Yeah, well, that's great. And by the way, you're also someone, because you developed a fan base and a following on your own, you're sort of uncancelable.
Yeah.
If most people are just like beholden to corporate interests. So like I don't have a following other than like what people will hire me to do.
You have a little following.
I mean, I guess so, but at the same time, like
it's unfortunate you weren't able to you had how many million views on that the video with the N-word in it?
How a white man says N-word to a black man?
Yeah.
Have you seen that video?
No.
Dude, that one blew up on every platform.
Yeah.
And if there was a way for those people to even know that was you, that would have been nice.
Well, the big problem was the guy who produced it. I forget, Scott Montoya is his name, this piece of shit. He has some company called LOL Flicks, which no one's ever heard of, but he was a producer on the show. Basically what happened is this show, Chocolate Sunday Comedy Special, was on Showtime. They showed one episode, kind of as a pilot. It didn't take. But the initial clip was this bit I did, me and two black guys, about how a white man says the N-word to a black man. I keep going like, hey, we guys like, where's my money? It's like, I'll give it to you next week. And I point to the black guy, and he's like, nigga. Yeah. So basically, he becomes my scapegoat, right? And it's a fun bit. It really did well. And it probably aggregate got like 120 million views with all the different like stuff.
Crazy.
Recently.
Together.
About the last 5 years, right?
Yeah, 5 or 6 years. So, anyway, so I wanted to put it on because I wrote the sketch and I was in it and I wanted to put it on my website. But the Scott Montoya guy, because he was so fucking jealous that it blew up without his direction, he put like an earmark on it or a copyright watermark or something. So you can't put it out. You can't, like if I were to take the clip and try to put it on my Instagram, it would get removed instantly because of some weird. I wish I knew how to break that shit. I need a good computer hacker to break it. Yeah. Because I'm sure it's not that hard. Yeah. Austin, you're a nerd. Can you do that?
Yeah, Austin,
he's either too stoned or too tired from playing RuneScape.
All right, fine.
Can't accept the extra work.
But it hasn't given me any work at all or any money at all.
That's
my theory now about like how to avoid the Me Too stuff in general is like, as a guy, just start on your. It's like jujitsu. Start on your back.
Become gay.
If you start on your back, not on your stomach. If you start on your back, like how Me Too-y are you going to be if you're starting on your back?
Exactly.
That's a good point.
And it sucks, dude, because Bill, I think the three of us know, these assholes know, that's not what women want at all. I mean, my girlfriend recently, she's been hinting. There was one day when I really took it to her. It was spanking her. I threw her down on the floor, was spitting on her face. She had to hint at that a couple of times. Like, remember that time at your house in Sacramento, down on the floor? That was really hot. I can tell she's just like, every time I look her in the eye and fuck her missionary until I come, she's like thinking about
boring.
Yeah, exactly. She's thinking about People magazine and some bitch's eyebrow she saw on Instagram and how she can replicate those. It's
true,
and I've had to crank it up a notch and become more aggressive. It's crazy that chicks, there's this double think going on where even the most these feminists on their fucking podcasts and blog posts are like, I have no shame in my sexuality. I like to get fucked hard and on the first night and by 10 guys. But then on the other hand, it's like if you say, hey, sexy from across the street, you're Hitler.
Right.
Yeah. No, it's, but again, it is tricky, but it puts the onus as guys, as alpha guys with bigger dicks than Austin to just really be, you gotta be fucking super aware.
Careful,
so either like start on your back or start giving her oral.
Yeah,
like
there
those
you
are
go.
the two ways to start.
Absolutely.
Don't kiss her. What are you, a fucking fag? No, I'm kidding.